Berger's Blancanieves from 2012. This is a Spanish film. Let's just play a little bit of the trailer, and then we're gonna talk about this movie. Yeah, let's get your initial thoughts there, Chris, because we both saw it this weekend.
Yeah, I watched it last night. Coincidentally, while my wife was studying her Spanish language class that she's taking, she's a designer. And so she deals with a lot of trades, and a lot of the trades here, they speak more fluent Spanish than they do English. So she wants to be able to say, hey, whose green truck is this out in the driveway? I need to, she just wants to be able to get to know and communicate with people more. So she's doing her homework.
Nice.
In another room, actually. And you can hear this right out of the gate. This film looks beautiful, and the music is beautiful. The music is just so beautiful. So I said, hey, I'm going to be watching a movie in here, but it's a silent movie.
Right. Yeah. We didn't say that, guys. This is a silent film.
It's a silent movie. So yeah, this is almost like The Artist. This is almost like an ode to old cinema of, sort of that silvery golden age of silent movies. And there's a lot of, I don't know, I'll have to ask you and lean into you because I don't know Spanish culture, obviously, quite like you do. But my first take was that it looked beautiful. The music was beautiful. There seemed to be a lot of, I couldn't tell sometimes if it was parody or just a bunch of stereotypes. And I wasn't sure what message was being sent with that. Because bullfighters, that just seems so stereotypically Spanish that I wasn't sure if they were kind of making fun of the practice or sort of celebrating it. It was kind of hard to say, but I thought it was really fun. It was dark. It really was dark. Yep. But it
dark
was
in nature, guys, not dark in lighting.
No, right. No, it was beautifully lit. As a
Which
matter
the
of fact,
Brothers Grimm was pretty dark as well.
Indeed. But this movie, you don't walk away from this movie with any, you do get one little ray of hope, which is kind of a bizarre little moment at the very, very last second. But it really has sort of a cynical, it's sort of like if Pinocchio had ended when Pinocchio was in the cage, being part of the puppet show for the rest of his life, and there were so many sort of little fairy tale elements here that they gave nods to. You can tell that the director really loved movies and really loved this story and had a really unique way to retell it. And the actress, both the adult and the little girl, absolutely beautiful. And the adult actress, my gosh, her teeth. My wife did come in eventually to see what I was watching. And
I was going to say, of course she would love it. Yeah.
Yeah. She thought it was just beautiful too. And the lead actress, this is the villain. This is the evil stepmother.
Right.
And what a tragic story about her dad. And, I was moved by it. I don't know that it's something I would watch again, but I feel better having watched it. I thought it was beautiful. Tell me your thoughts. What made you pick this movie? Is this a favorite or one you'd never seen?
Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. And it's kind of a shame here on the Latino Slant. I did not know about this film until maybe a few days ago.
Okay.
And Carlos Aguilar, who is a film critic for the LA Times, New York Times. I follow him.
Yeah.
I like his writing. Don't agree with him always, but he put this up. He's like, this is the only Snow White for me. Like, he wasn't a fan of the Ziegler one. I was like, oh, yeah. What is this?
Yeah.
And here's a couple things is that not only am I fans of the older actors in this film, but I'm a fan of the filmmaker because the filmmaker did an animated film last year called Robot Dreams. And Robot Dreams is silent too. And it was nominated for Best Act for, an Oscar animated feature. Didn't win, but Robot Dreams was amazing. I'm like, oh, this makes sense.
Was it widescreen though, or was it 4:3 aspect ratio like this was?
Robot Dreams? No, that was widescreen.
Okay.
So, I was blown. I love this woman who played her. She was beautiful. I love the little girl as well. I love Maribel Verdú, who is the evil stepmom. Great character. She is the nurse that takes care of the father and then weasels her way into it and takes the setup is that he's the most famous matador.
Matador, yep.
and he's got a wife. They're expecting,
They're
and
wealthy. Yeah.
wealthy. They got the wealth. They got the fame. So, and this is set in 1929,
Mm-hmm.
and tragedy happens. So Maribel Verdú weasels her way in there, and
So
yeah,
basically sends the little girl to stay with their grandmother.
when the grandparents are wonderful, and this is her right here,
Yeah, that's the stepmom, right?
the stepmom,
Yeah.
and this actor who plays the father, he's pretty famous as well. He's a Mexican actor who's done movies in Spain and in Mexico, uh, which he's aged over the years. I'm like, oh my God, that's the same guy. So I was very
There he is. Yeah.
so good. So I was very excited to see this,
Okay.
and I was blown away. And I'm like, this, if you're gonna do a retelling of something, this is how you do it. Not
Well, I agree. I couldn't help but make comparisons to the Disney live action remake of their own cartoon, which they didn't even stick to it. But this is really, it's almost just like a Snow White pastiche. It's an excuse, and it's even within the continuity of the film itself, because she does run into six dwarf matadors. Yeah.
Yes.
So they're this little sideshow thing, and she connects with them after she's been, the huntsman has tried to kill her by drowning.
And tried to assault her, which I found was very alarming, man.
Yeah. It was, well, he tried to,
dark. Yeah.
Yes, this was a dark movie. And but one of them saved her. One who inevitably wound up having a serious crush all the way.
He was great.
Till after her death. Yeah, he was. This is the grandmother on the right and the wife on the left there.
Sorry about that. Let me find
That's
it again.
okay. But so after she connects with them, and they are bullfighters, and one day she goes out in the middle of one of the matches to save the one who doesn't really like her that much. He would be the grumpy, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because we never got names.
No, we did.
Did we?
Yeah. They're in Spanish really fast.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
it flew right over my gringo head, obviously.
That's all right.
But he was the grumpy one. He didn't even want her there at all. But she kind of saved him with some skills that her father had taught her.
There it is.
About bullfighting. Yeah, there's the dwarfs.
Yeah. So they actually hired real little people actors.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Don't tell Peter Dinklage,
Imagine
well,
that.
Newsflash.
Look at those faces right there. Could all of those not have played the dwarves in Disney's?
100%.
What would have been wrong with that? Nothing.
100%. And they were fantastic, and they all had their own personalities.
They could have saved a lot of money,
and the grumpy was a hater.
Yes.
Because Blancanieves comes in and she basically becomes, famous like her dad. It's in her blood.
Yeah, right? And then the word gets around, as she rises to the top of her game. And what's interesting here is it was their idea. They said, we're going to call you Snow White, like the story.
Like the tale.
Yeah, and then they started pitching themselves as Snow White and the Seven Dwarf Troubadours, but there were only 6, and they knew that. Right. You even had little funny moments where they kind of counted themselves. I mean, it's a special movie. It's a shame that it got overlooked by the American Oscars. It was pretty critically acclaimed. I think it came around the same time as The Artist, and it sort of seemed like maybe people saw this and it's like, oh, this is just deja vu. We've seen it, but this movie was in progress for several years before The Artist, as I understand. It took him like 8 years to get it done.
Well, that's Pablo Berger, in his vision, and, much love to him to making this universal, like Robot Dreams, different medium, because Robot Dreams is animated. But this is, not only is it silent film, it's in black and white. It's a period piece. And this is a brilliant adaptation. I don't know, I was rocked. And it's a beautifully made film. There are some adult themes in it, guys. This is not Snow White to have your kids to watch with your kids.
No.
You know, this is a very much, you know,
Particularly the pastimes of the stepmother.
yeah, the stepmom is a bit of a freak.
Yeah. It's good though that she would pose for those paintings or whatever the things that she was doing, because it gave little Carmen time to spend with her dad.
So the actress is Maribel Verdú. I've seen her in movies since the 90s. I've been in love with her since the 90s. Belle Époque, Y tu mamá también. Pan's Labyrinth. She was the female lead in Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay.
And she's actually in a bilingual TV show right now, I believe, on one of the big streamers. So she and here we go. I got a DC connection. She was the mom to Ezra Miller's Flash.
Okay.
That's her. That's her.
Okay. I
Don't
thought
hold it
Guillermo del
against her.
Toro even mentioned this movie at one time.
Yeah. Let's hear from Fletcher. Any thoughts? Are you familiar with this film?
I did see parts of it, like back in the day and stuff like that. It's, you know, he's a Basque filmmaker, so that's why you have a lot of the tragedy signs of it.
So Basque is a region, a group of people. It's actually a group of people. Let's define this for Chris and for our audience, Fletcher.
So it's a region and a people, ethnicity, and they're basically always fighting. I saw my cousin Basco in the chat. He's Basque, and basically they're been fighting to have a region to themselves in Spain for the longest time. So they're still like involved in several skirmishes sometimes in Spain right now. A lot of them did move also in different areas of the United States. So there's a large Basque communities here in the States. So they always have very familiar, very tight-knit communities. But their artwork is always runs a little bit on the melancholic, darker side, should we say, you know? So, yeah.
Well, this was on brand for that, for sure. Yeah. You know, in addition to being black and white, and in addition to being silent, it was 4:3. So if you're familiar with Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse, which was a recent movie that was shot like that, it's you know, it's a risk, but I appreciated that he pulled it off with aplomb. I mean, he did a great job. It's a great movie. It's not a feel-good movie, like you say. It's a wonderful experiment, and you know, it's the best. It's certainly the best remake of Snow White I've ever seen.
Well, there you guys have it. Blancanieves. It's out on Tubi right now.
That's right.
You can see it on Tubi, guys. I highly recommend it. Chris recommends
I watched it on Tubi myself. I had about 3 commercial breaks. Most of them were in Spanish too, by the way.
So you can learn Spanish and watch the movie.
It knew your wife was watching.
Yeah, right. Isn't that something? I think it was all synchronous. Everything was working out perfectly. It's like 7 o'clock, and I'm washing up, and I think, man, am I going to manage to watch this movie?
Gotcha.
And I'm glad I did. I did.
It was worth it.
It was totally worth it. It was. I feel I'm a better man because I watched it. So it gets my highest recommendation.
Well, I can tell you, there's like great, imagery with her and the rooster.
Oh man, Pepe,
Pepe the rooster, because you know Snow White was always in tune with nature and animals.
Yeah, there's a couple of great shots when she's walking away and Pepe's kind of following after her, and then especially that shot when they're under the bed watching the stepmother and the rooster's just kind of. I was like, how did they train this rooster just to sit here so calmly? You know?
Yeah.